Bright installations, bold performances, provocative pictures, and painted walls. Art has long been living in the new era and formation. Ask questions, be surprised, experience new sensations, and set off on an exciting journey through the world of contemporary art with Modern Art Program. Today in the program, Salvador Dali and Astana Art Center. Cool Age by Galim Madanov and Zauresh Terikbay. Why does Rashid Nurekeev love planes? Argentine passion on Kazakhstan stage. The capital of Kazakhstan celebrates its 20th anniversary. Today, Astana aspires to become a tourism center of the world. How can a dynamically developing city be interesting for a foreign visitor, in particular with its contemporary art? In recent years, a lot of art centers where young prospective and already recognized artists can exhibit their work appeared in the capital. Kazakhstan culture and art are promoted, in particular by this Astana Art Center. The founder of the exhibition was the Kazakh artist Leyla Mahat. According to her idea, the center works on several directions at once. In 2 exhibition halls, we hold exhibitions with a minimum frequency of every 2 months. The main achievement of the center is the Hall of Printed Graphics and the Hall of Classics. In the Hall of Printed Graphic Works of Rembrandt van Rijn and Albrecht Dürer, restored by German restorers, are exhibited. The originals of lithographs of famous European artists are also presented here. Lithographs of such artists as Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, and Chagall are presented. These works are original lithographs and were purchased at European auctions. Every month, an exposition is renewed in one of the halls. Artists from all regions of Kazakhstan, as well as artists from the United States, Brazil, Italy, the Netherlands, Czech Republic, India, China, Russia, France, Turkey, Georgia, Korea, Germany, Spain, and Japan held their exhibitions here over the past few years. Often after these expositions in the art space, artists leave their works as a present. Here is the work of the modern Japanese artist installer Yasu Kianishi. Last year, his personal exhibition took place where he exhibited his abstract works and installations. This work is called Pressure Plate 1702. 1702 is the telephone code of Japan. Abstract work is done in a style peculiar to the artist. Everyone interprets the meaning of this work in his own way. Art experts and exhibition curators from Kazakhstan and several European countries study the works of each artist before deciding on the organization of the exhibition. The decisive factor in the selection is the professional level of the artist and the correspondence of his works to the concept of the center's activities. That is the popularization of contemporary art. At the center, there is an international supervisory board which directly selects artists and does not have any territorial restrictions. Both international and Kazakhstan participants can take part. Promotion of art happens not only due to the holding of exhibitions. A new art generation is being groomed at master classes for young artists and at the art lessons for all visitors. Even if these students do not continue to practice art professionally, it will still make a significant contribution to spiritual development. We have 2 modern painting studios, also an academic drawing. We teach children how to paint on canvas using gouache, oil, and also different materials. In the academic drawing, we teach children and adults how to draw with a pencil, a graphic drawing. Another project of the Art Center is the annual Festival of International Art. Artists from near and far abroad bring their work and skills to the capital of Kazakhstan and take away impressions, new creative ideas, and friendly attitude of the capital's public to their creativity. Thanks to such events, Astana becomes known in the world art community as the center of attraction of modern art. "20 years of the capital is a beautiful age." These facts were taken for consideration by the curators Galim Madanov and Zauresh Terikbay. In Astana, this is the first exhibition in the career of the creative duo. It coincided that the exposition opened for the 60th anniversary of Galim and for the anniversary of Astana. Therefore, the name is symbolic, cool age. From English, it is translated as a cool century. The word cool age is still similar to the word collage. The whole exhibition is made in collage technique. I kind of focused on it. Because we live today in this era of collage, let's say. Because there is a reality, there is virtual reality. Cinema, television, the media are everywhere. It is multi-level. In the end, we, it turns out, live in a collage world. Galim, Madanov, and Zaurej Terikbai are one of the key contemporary artists of the Central Asian art scene. They are actively exhibited abroad. The Kazakhstan duo received world recognition thanks to participation in international exhibitions, including the Venice Biennial, Art Dubai, Moscow Biennial, and others. They have more than 100 international exhibitions on their account, mostly abroad. In Kazakhstan, they are not well known, so for me it was important that people in Kazakhstan know that we have talented artists. In Astana, we are exhibiting our work for the first time. This is our first personal exhibition recently, because we have a busy exhibition schedule abroad. The exhibition unites a series of works created over the past few years. Its energy center is the installation Dream of Reason, the work of 2012. It was presented at the 55th Venice Biennial, but few people saw it in Kazakhstan. The installation deserves special attention, not only because it has international fame. This is a multi-level installation, and it is as if open to any interpretation. It looks like a warm blanket, but in fact, when you look closely, it is woven from many, many small tin soldiers. Interpretation depends on the level of the person who is watching, his personal experience, from his knowledge, from his spiritual development, from his moral and ethical norms. Every person, he always struggles with himself. There are always contradictions. If a person is thinking, there are always doubts, and no matter how happy he is in his family, he did not decorate his personal space. No matter how cozy a blanket was or a bed comfortable, he always doubts and he fights himself inside. This struggle is internal. The inspiration of Galim, Madanov, and Zaurej Terikbai in glossy magazines and street scenes, in the paintings of old masters, and in advertising booklets, in headlines, logos, and ads torn from the pillars. By combining magazine pictures and medieval European paintings, ancient Oriental miniatures, and photographs taken in the streets, the artist put together a piece of the new time from pieces. We use in our collages materials that we have had in the last 25 years. Glamorous magazines that appeared in the early 90s. These are some booklets when they just started to master, advertise small forms, booklets, stickers, and everything else. The main addition is photos, our personal photos, because during these 25 years, we photograph people, just people who live around us, our neighbors, or who work in bazaars. In general, it's just our Kazakhstan people. This love of artists for the combination of pictures is related to their past activities. Zaurej and Galim used to work in the cinema. He was a costume designer, she is an assistant director. Collage, note the authors, like a movie, the same principle of editing. There's a volume, multi-layers, and illusion of movement, which is now frozen but can continue further. Some of the walls in the gallery are mobile, so we transformed the space, created a recreation route for a better experience, in order for the viewer to receive a physical, conceptual, intellectual experience from the exhibition. It goes through a certain route, starting with the first job, ending with the last job. Thus, the exhibition is built according to all the rules of spatial dramaturgy. It has its own route, a plot with an outset, culmination, denouement. In addition, the entire space of the gallery participates in this process. It was specially rebuilt, and the walls of the gallery were painted in bright shades, like sheets in a set of colored paper. I like not only the meaning, their concept in many works, but also the fact that they are interestingly represented. The very visual part is interesting. They use different materials and multi-layered, unusual approaches. Galim, Madanov, and Zaudesh Terikbai carefully peer into life, revealing unobvious senses in it. Their works connect together various elements that reflect the modern world. Using it in their artistic practice collages, the principle of editing films, as well as the language of mass consumer culture, artists convey the spirit of the times and subtly emphasize by their works that we live in a cool age. Another Kazakh conceptualist who reinterprets and reflects modernity in his work is Rashid Nurekeev. People say that he is a social artist, and in Kazakhstan there are not many of them. His works are devoted to current social topics. The author examines social processes in modern society and gives an insight into the individual path of a person. Nurekeev's works transmit hidden messages through a variety of codes and riddles. The main idea is, to some extent, empathy for what is happening to us. Any work is an idea, of course. You cannot treat it as a pure picture, pure painting. These are images. In Kazakhstan, personal exhibitions of Rashid Nurekeev are very rare. The previous one was 10 years ago. Therefore, a new exposition called Bones, Olives, Airplanes aroused great interest in creative circles, and not only. Exhibition 2018 is an attempt to comprehend today's reality after years of silence. In the exhibition, there are more than 30 works, paintings, videos, collages, installations, and photographs. Rashid began to work recently with photography as a photographer, and here you can see a few of his works. Here are the bones. In his installations, he also inserts photographic works. Airplanes and olives are also on photos. He actively uses photography as a medium. Each work is an independent statement inspired by different events, stories, myths, and works. Sometimes it is difficult to find a connection between them. Sources come from completely different eras. Desperate work is perceived as a puzzle from which it is necessary to collect a single picture. This artist is a conceptual artist who combines traditional techniques such as painting, installation, collage, drawing with very conceptual things. He perhaps is the only one of our artists who works with the Kazakh text conceptually. He introduces into the work a text in the Kazakh language, which brings the Kazakh culture into the world space of conceptualism. The artist reflects what is happening at the local level, and at the same time affects global, all understandable problems. As Nurekeev himself believes, the concept of national art does not exist. Especially modern, it is perceived as a single space. Of course, I try to raise more global issues. Contemporary art, one, should not confine only to local issues. Many can be shocked by the way Rashid depicts these questions in his art. For example, here you can see a whole wall with large images of gnawed bones. The series is called Aspiring Dogs. The name itself leads to a lot of thoughts. His works cause contradictory feelings. Someone sees a legacy in the bones, someone sees the fragments as fragmentation. Someone sees it as throwing dice to the people, someone sees poetry in it. Of course, every work has an anthropomorphic approach. Every work is a portrait of a man. The cool thing is that it causes some emotion. In this case, for me, it is some kind of incomprehensible negative, some kind of feeling. Triptych, Olive Oil, a reference to the work of Van Gogh. This work depicts the artist and his wife. Gethsemane garden of our days appears in the form of supermarket shelves and bogies. The work Olive Garden, which stands directly under the triptych, continues the theme of consumerism. The artist does not divide between love and evil, good and evil, does not share the bad and good. All is one. Through some kind of everyday imagery, through historical, biblical characters, the artist comprehends the choice, responsibility. He thinks about moments, how much all is ambiguous. He addresses universal values, which were then and now and probably will be in the future. Therefore, this is all interconnected. The diptych Airplanes is about disasters, human and personal, compares multiple victims and one broken human destiny. In this case, the artist leaves the right to interpretation for the viewer. For example, Airplanes. 2 panels, but for me this is something more. This is remark. When we say that the death of one person is a tragedy and the death of millions is statistics, or maybe it's empathy. Someone sees this as simply 911, but someone sees something bigger in this. The exhibition of Rashid Nurekeev is a story of the past, which in fact has never been forgotten. The exposition, Bones, Olives, Airplanes, can be perceived as a single narrative. The artist created a special altered space for the viewer in which he plunges into thoughts about the life path, the uneasy fraction, the nature of sacrifice and mission. Theatrical life in the capital was very vibrant. Today, one of the favorite performances among Astana residents is the dance performance Mistress. It is based on the story of the famous Argentine dancer and singer, Ada Falcón, who for 10 years has been in a relationship with Francisco Canaro, the director and the head of the tango orchestra. There were many ideas on this matter. We thought of Georgia O'Keeffe, we thought about Virginia Woolf, about Marilyn Monroe, about other women. I wanted to talk about our reality and about how girls come to desire the desire to become a mistress, to be an illegitimate wife, let's say, and talk about it with love.
Незаконной супругой, скажем так, и поговорить об этом с любовью.
As a result, the candidatures of the artist, writer, and dancer decided to choose the latter, because the dance performance looked more impressive. So there was a production which, according to art critics, united on one stage tango, passion, love, revenge, remorse, and oblivion. Passion, the one that is shown on the stage. Passion that we sometimes, it seems that it is impossible to play it, but it is staged. In the first seasons, Ada Falcón was played by Aisalu Azimbayeva. Later, she was replaced by Dilyara Ismagambetova. The actress also ideally suited for this role. Passion, plasticity, and the ability to experience all the senses along with their heroine quickly made her a favorite of the public. During the play, Dilyara is transformed into a scandalous person, then into a predator, then into a spoiled girl, and then into a humble nun. She dances so inspiring, she lives on the stage and dies. After the performance, the public does not immediately come back to reality. For myself, I noticed the beauty of the main character. The actress is incredibly charismatic. I really liked her performance. I lived with her. Ada Falcón is one of the 10 most famous mistresses in human history, but this did not make her a legend. Ada was the owner of a unique voice. She became a star in a matter of weeks. The whole of Buenos Aires was driving her crazy. Together with Francisco Canaro, they recorded 180 songs and made a huge amount of money on Ada's popularity. Nevertheless, fame did not help Ada Falcón to become happy.
Слово любовница, она как бы немножко режет слух, но тем не менее как бы этот спектакль.
The word mistress sounds odd, but nevertheless, this performance is not about what is right or wrong. It is a way of life. This play is about love, about some intentions somewhere to rise over the head, through some feelings. I wish that there was less, in fact, such love as Ada Falcón and Francisco Canaro. Because it's very hard to be a mistress for 15 years. I wish you all love. I wish everyone to dance the tango.
Как у Ады Фалькон и Франциско Канаро, потому что 15 лет быть любовницей – это очень тяжело. Желаю любви всем, желаю танго всем.
Ada Falcón died in 2002. For 60 years she lived in a monastery. All this time she kept a vow of silence. Through this story, the author of the play hopes to help someone avoid mistakes in the future. Despite the fact that the setting takes place in the 19th century, the theme itself sounds fresh, even today.
Поскольку ситуация с женатыми мужчинами.
Since the situation with married men and their mistresses has not changed for hundreds of years in human history, my attitude for 2.5 years to this project has not changed in any way. This is still relevant. It excites our minds. The play leaves an aftertaste, food for thought, which means that he was able to fulfill his main task. The team has been touring throughout Kazakhstan for almost 3 years and getting sold-out shows in every city.